My greetings to everyone. I am Professor Namita Rajput, Professor in Department of Commerce, Sri Aurobindo College, University of Delhi. In the ongoing series of corporate governance, today we will be talking on a very pertinent topic, Kautilya Arthashastra as a model of corporate governance. Kautilya Arthashastra, crafted around 4th century BCE, stands as an ancient Indian masterpiece on governance, combining the elements of politics, economics, and strategy. Imagine it as an ancient guidebook for the rulers, offering a wisdom on managing a kingdom, much like a CEO runs a modern corporation, but with a focus on well-being of the citizens. Now, what is the basic idea of this? At its heart, the Arthashastra is about smart leadership and governance. Kautilya, also known as Chanakya, who was a strategist, a teacher, they compiled this guide to help the rulers build their prosperous, secure, and well-managed kingdoms. Now, it's akin to a manual for the ancient kings on how to effectively govern their realm, from the finance and defense to law and order. Now, let me discuss certain key features which is explained in this aspect. The first and the foremost is all-round governance. Kautilya believed in a king being more than just a ruler. He needed to be a leader, a guardian, and a manager, all rolled into one. He was responsible for everything in the kingdom, which is similar to a school principal who looks like after the students, teachers, and the school premises. Now, the second feature of this governance model is the economy matters. A big chunk of his advice centers on economic stability. He suggests the various ways to boost the agriculture, like a farmer planning crops for the year, encourage the trade, that is, the think of setting up a marketplace, and to implement a fair taxes like the fair admission fee for a community park without burdening the people. Now, another aspect of Kautilya Arthashastra governance model is the people's welfare. The well-being of the citizens was paramount. Kautilya recommended build infrastructure like roads, hospitals, and providing the aid during the hard times, much like a community leader, ensuring everyone has an access to food, health care, and education. The next is your smart diplomacy. He emphasized a savvy diplomatic relations, advising when to make alliances or when to be cautious of the neighbors, akin to being friendly with others in your neighborhood, but also knowing whom to trust. The next feature of Kautilya Arthashastra model of corporate governance is your law and order. A clear and a fair legal system was very crucial for peace and justice. Imagine setting up the rules for a game where everyone knows how to play fairly, and there are the references to enforce these rules. The next is your defense and military. The strong military strategies for protecting the kingdom were outlined, much like a coach devises the plan for winning a game while ensuring the team's defense is impenetrable. The next feature is the role of spies. Spies were important for gathering the information and keeping the kingdom safe, similar to having a lookouts in a game of hide and seek to warn when the seeker is near. The next important aspect is your ethical leadership. Despite the hard-nosed advice on the governance, Kautilya did not ignore the ruler's moral compass. He urged the leaders to be virtuous and considerate, akin to a captain who not only leads the team to the victory, but also ensures a fair play and the team spirit. The next important feature is making it modern. Think of Kautilya's Arthashastra as a timeless blueprint for effective and ethical management, covering the A to Z of running a state, from ensuring the economy thrives and law are followed to protecting the kingdom and caring for the citizens. It's about the leadership that balances the power with responsibility, strategy with humanity, and in the essence, the Kautilya teaches that being in charge means looking after the land and its people almost like a gardener tends to a garden, ensuring every plant flourishes. Kautilya Arthashastra, with its ancient wisdom on the governance, offers several advantages that can be appreciated even in today's realm and context. So, let us talk about some key benefits of implementing the principles outlined in this seminal work. The first advantage of Kautilya Arthashastra model is the holistic approach to leadership. The Arthashastra presents a comprehensive view of the governance that encompasses the political, economic and the strategic dimensions. This holistic approach, it ensures that the leader considers all aspects of the governance, from economic development and the social welfare to the defense and diplomacy, much like a CEO oversees the different departments within a company for overall success. The next advantage of this model is economic stability and prosperity. By emphasizing the importance of a strong economy, the agricultural development and the fair taxation, the Arthashastra provide a blueprint for creating a stable and a prosperous state. It's akin to a financial planner advising on a diversified investment, the strategy to ensure the long-term wealth and stability. The next advantage is your welfare of the people. The focus on the well-being of the citizens, including a public health, education and infrastructure, it aligns with the modern concepts of social welfare and the corporate social responsibility. Implementing these ideas can actually lead to a harmonious society where the needs of the citizens are met, similar to a community where everyone looks out for each other. Another advantage of this model is a strategic foreign policy. Kautilya's nuanced approach to the diplomacy and the foreign relations, including the use of alliances and espionage. It offers valuable lessons on navigating the international politics and the strategic partnerships today, akin to a chess player thinking several moves ahead to outsmart their opponents. The next is your robust defense strategies. The detailed military strategies and the importance played on a well-prepared defense mechanism highlight the significance of security in the governance. It's like a security system for a home, ensuring a safety and peace of mind for its inhabitants. Effective administration. Kautilya advocate for a well-organized administrative system with clear roles and responsibilities for the officials, which can be paralleled to a modern management practices in business and the government, ensuring the efficiency and accountability. The rule of law. The emphasis on a fair legal system and the justice ensures that the rule of law prevails, which is the foundational to the functioning of any successful society. It's similar to having a clear rules and impartial reference in a sport to ensure a fair play. The ethical governance is another advantage of this model. Let us dwell into it. The call for the ethical leadership and the moral governance, it resonates with the contemporary ideals of transparency, integrity and the corporate ethics, reminding the leaders to prioritize the greater good over the personal gain, akin to a trusted guardian role in protecting and nurturing those in their care. By blending the pragmatic governance strategies with the ethical consideration, Kautilya Arthashastra offers a timeless guide to effective and responsible leadership that remains relevant across the ages and the culture. Now, let us explore into the different area of the application of Kautilya Arthashastra. Kautilya Arthashastra, thought ancient, holds a valuable insight that can be applied to a modern corporate governance also. The text emphasizes the ethical leadership, efficient management, and the welfare of the people. The principles that are increasingly relevant in today's global business environment. Now, there are several ways in which the Arthashastra teachings can be applied to a modern corporate governance. Out of this, the first point we are going to discuss is your ethical leadership. Kautilya advocated for leaders to be the moral, ethical, and responsible for the welfare of their subjects. In a corporate context, this translates to the importance of ethical leadership and the corporate social responsibility. The leaders are expected to act with integrity and ensure their company's activities benefit all the stakeholders, including the employees, customers, communities, and the stakeholders. The next is your transparency and accountability. The Arthashastra emphasizes the king's duty to be transparent, accountable to his subjects. In the modern governance, this principle underscores the importance of transparency in dealings, financial disclosures, and the corporate decisions, ensuring the accountability to the shareholders and the stakeholders alike. The next application of this is risk management and the internal control. Kautilya detailed measures for safeguarding the state's treasure and managing the risk through espionage and intelligence. It translated into a corporate setting. This highlights the importance of robust risk management framework and internal control to the project assets, manage the financial risk and ensure the compliance with the laws and the regulations. The next application we are talking about is a strategic planning and resource allocation. The treatise provides extensive advice on the statecraft and strategic planning, including the allocation of resources and the assessment of external threats and opportunities. The corporations can apply these principles through the strategic planning process, efficient resource allocation, and by being agile in the face of market changes and the competition. The corporate espionage and intellectual property is another area of application of this model. While corporate espionage is illegal and unethical, the principle behind gathering the intelligence in the Arthashastra can be applied to a legal competitive intelligence practices and the market research. The companies need to protect their intellectual property and the trade secrets while ethically gathering intelligence about the market trends, competitors, and the innovations. Employee welfare and management. Kautilya advocated for the fair treatment of the workers, emphasizing their welfare as crucial to the state's success. The modern corporations can take from this importance of human resource management, fair labor practices, employee benefits, and creating a positive workplace culture to motivate and retain employees. Another application of this is sustainability and the long-term vision. The Arthashastra emphasizes on the welfare of the kingdom and its people over the long term can be likened to the modern concepts of sustainability and environmental, social and governance ESG criteria in the business practices. The companies are increasingly expected to operate in a way that is sustainable over the long term, taking into account their impact on the environment and the society. Another application of this model is the governance structure and the policies. Kautilya's work outlines the various administrative structures and the policies for efficient governance. This can inspire the development of effective governance structure in the corporations, including a clear role and responsibility for the board of directors, executives and management teams to ensure the checks and the balances. Applying the Arthashastra principle to the corporate governance, it involves adapting the ancient wisdom to the ethical, legal and the business context of the modern world. This approach encourages the companies to not only pursue the profitability, but also to govern ethically, prioritize stakeholder welfare, manage the risk effectively, and plan for a long-term sustainability. Now, the advantages of Rajniti, the science of statecraft. Rajniti, the science of statecraft, is a concept deeply rooted into the ancient Indian political philosophy, particularly expounded upon in the text such as Arthashastra by Chanakya. Here are some advantages associated with the principle of Rajniti. The strategic governance. Rajniti emphasizes the strategic governance where the rulers employ astute tactics and the policies to ensure the stability, prosperity and the security of the state. Now, this strategic approach enables the leaders to effectively navigate through the various challenges and achieve a long-term objectives. The balance of power. The concept of Rajniti advocates for maintaining a delicate balance of power within the state and with the neighboring states. By ensuring the equilibrium in the power dynamics, the rulers can prevent the conflicts and maintain the stability in the region. The ethical governance. Despite its focus on the strategic maneuvering, Rajniti also emphasizes the ethical governance, and the leaders are encouraged to uphold more principles and administer the justice fairly. The ethical foundation helps in fostering a trust and the loyalty amongst the populace. Diplomatic relations. The Rajniti emphasizes the importance of diplomatic relations with the other states. By engaging in diplomatic negotiations and the alliances, the rulers can actually secure their interest, avoid the conflicts and promote a mutual cooperation for economic and the strategic benefits. The next advantage of Rajniti, the science of statecraft, is your economic prosperity. Effective implementation of Rajniti principles can lead to economic prosperity. The policies promoting the trade, agriculture, infrastructure development and the wealth generation, it contributes to the overall growth of the state, improving the standard of living for its citizens. The next is your national security. The Rajniti prioritizes the national security by advocating for the establishment of a robust defense system and the intelligence network. The leaders are encouraged to be vigilant against the internal and external threats, thereby safeguarding the sovereignty and the integrity of the state. Adaptability and the flexibility. One of the key advantages of the Rajniti is its adaptability and the flexibility. The rulers are advised to adapt their strategic according to changing circumstances and also the emerging challenges. The next advantage of Rajniti, the science of a statecraft, is the ability to evolve and respond effectively to the dynamic situation, which enhances the resilience of the state. The long-term vision. Rajniti encourages the leader to adapt a long-term vision for the state development and the prosperity. Now, by planning strategically and investing in the sustainable initiatives, the rulers can ensure the continuity of the progress and the legacy for the future generations. Overall, Rajniti offers a comprehensive framework for effective governance, encompassing the strategic thinking, ethical leadership, diplomacy, economic management, and the national security. Embracing these principles can empower the leaders to navigate the complexities of the statecraft and steer their nation towards the success and also the prosperity. Now, let us move forward with the ethical guidelines and the moral considerations in this regard. The ethical guidelines and the moral considerations, they play a very significant role in the practice of Rajniti, the science of statecraft. Here are some key aspects we will be discussing now. The first and the foremost ethical guideline and the moral consideration is your justice and fairness. Ethical governance under the Rajniti emphasizes the importance of justice and fairness. The rulers are expected to administer the laws impartially, ensuring that all the individuals are treated equitably regardless of their social status or affiliations. Upholding the principles of fairness, it fosters the trust and the social cohesion within the state. Integrity and honesty. The leaders practicing Rajniti are encouraged to demonstrate integrity and honesty in their actions and decisions. The transparency in the governance and adherence to a moral principles enhance the credibility of the ruling authority and they cultivate the public interest. The next ethical guideline and the moral consideration is a compassion and the welfare. Rajniti recognizes the importance of compassion and concern for the welfare of the people. The leaders are expected to prioritize the well-being of their subjects, ensuring the access to the basic necessities such as food, shelter, health care, and education. The policies aimed at elevating the poverty, reducing the inequality, and promoting a social justice. It reflects the ethical dimensions of the statecraft. Now, another aspect as far as the ethical consideration and the moral consideration is all about respect for the human dignity. The ethical governance in the Rajniti entails the respect for the dignity and the rights of all the individuals. The leaders must safeguard the human rights, protect the vulnerable populations, and uphold the dignity of every citizen. Discrimination based on the factors like caste, gender, religion, ethnicity is actually condemned, and the efforts are made to promote the inclusivity and equality. The next is your stewardship of resources. The leaders practicing Rajniti are entrusted with the responsible stewardship of resources, both natural and economic. The ethical consideration demand for a prudent management of resources to ensure a sustainable development and the environmental considerations. Corruption and exploitation of the resources for the personal gain are incompatible with the principles of the ethical governance. The next is your peace and non-violence. Rajniti advocates for pursuit of peace and non-violence in resolving the conflicts and maintaining the order within the state. So, these were actually very, very important ethical considerations. The diplomatic negotiations, mediations, conflict resolution mechanisms are employed to mitigate the tensions and prevent the violence. The leaders are encouraged to prioritize the dialogue and the conciliation over the coercion or the overall aggression. The next we see is accountability and oversight. The ethical governance requires the leaders to be accountable to the people they serve. Mechanisms for transparency, accountability, and the oversight are established to ensure that those in the power are held accountable for all their actions and decisions. Respect for the rule of law and the institutional checks and balances are integral to preventing the abuse of the power. The civic virtue and the leadership. Rajniti promotes the cultivation of a civic virtue and ethical leadership among the rulers and the citizens alike. The leaders are expected to lead by examples, demonstrating the virtues such as humility, courage, and selflessness. The civic engagement and participation are encouraged to foster a sense of collective responsibility and the governance, ownership in the governance. So, at the end, we can say the ethical guidelines and the moral considerations are the foundational to the practice of Rajniti, guiding the leaders in their pursuit of justice, integrity, compassion, and the common good. Thank you very much.